All right, let's go. Carolina Panthers. Pick 1. Bryce Young to Carolina. Vegas was never going to lead us astray that much. That's the pick. He's the franchise quarterback in this year's draft class. The only knock you had, like if he was 6'3", 6'2" even, and like 215 pounds, 220 pounds, this wouldn't even be quite, it'd be Trevor Lawrence all over again. He would have been head and shoulders above CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis. And the fact that you can't, like, what do you really have to knock him for his height? And like, what from watching him play at Alabama makes you think like, ugh, that's going to be a problem at the next level. Like, he didn't have balls batted down at the line of scrimmage, didn't have durability issues. He can maneuver in the pocket to, you know, kind of operate like Drew Brees in a way where it's like, you know, I don't think tall offensive linemen and being able to read the field behind an offensive line is going to be an issue for him. You know, I will say, obviously, with his slight frame, it's going to be on Carolina to keep building that offensive line around him, have a nice run game with Miles Sanders, keep some pressure off him. But, I mean, they made the big investment last year in the first round of Ike Ekwonu, protect his blind side. This is the right pick. Congratulations. A new era in Carolina. They're going to do wonders with Bryce Young. Frank Reich is going to do wonders with Bryce Young. That is awesome. So, I mean, we got a lot more new Panther fans on the channel because of, obviously, our Madden series last year. And, congratulations. You guys got yourself an outstanding quarterback. You could have overthought it. You could have went a different direction. Great pick, bringing in Bryce Young. Giving that an A+. We got the Houston Texans. Whoa, they got CJ Stroud. That's what they needed to do. Houston Texans select CJ Stroud at pick 2. I was literally just saying in the live stream, man. It was smoke screens, right? Like I think Will Anderson at 2 would have made a lot of sense here. And it almost felt like they were kind of viewing a quarterback being available at 12. But if like you're sold on one of these guys, and there was reports, really solid reports, that Houston was trying to trade up with Chicago for the number 1 overall pick. They were sold on quarterbacks in this class. And it's just unrealistic to assume that quarterback will be available at 12. Or if they want to be aggressive, try to trade up from 12. So CJ Stroud goes to Houston. I'm not the biggest fan of CJ Stroud in terms of like, wow, this is a home run. Like, there's going to have to be some legitimate growth. His ability to read the game, his ability to process, those are things that not always get right and sorted out at the next level. Those can be things that kind of carry with quarterbacks throughout their career. But the pros of CJ Stroud, he absolutely has, like, if you're looking at what he ticks off, arm talent, boom, accuracy, boom, good athlete, boom. You know, played in a lot of big games, has big game experience. I think you make the argument that he's ready to go. He is going to be a day 1 starter for the Houston Texans. So, I mean, you know what? I like Houston. For the hiring of DeMeco Ryans, one of my favorite Philadelphia Eagles of all time. Mufasa is what we called him here in Philadelphia. I thought it was outstanding that they went out and gave him a head coaching job, because it is a little bit faux pas in today's NFL to get a defensive head coach. So many teams want to chase that offensive mastermind, that guy that can develop quarterbacks. And the fact that, DeMeco got that job, there is a side of me that's like, you know what? I'm pulling for the Houston Texans. And I think CJ Stroud, as long as they can smooth out the edges of CJ Stroud, they got themselves a hell of a quarterback. And that was always the right call. So solid move there for the Houston Texans. Maybe you can make the argument now in hindsight, 2-3 years down the road, so they've gone CJ Stroud, or so they've got, Will Anderson, the top edge rusher, and went out and gone all defense for DeMeco Ryans. That's related. But I think getting CJ Stroud here at 2 is a better process if they were interested in a quarterback than just getting Will Anderson and hoping for a quarterback at 12. So I'm going to give this one an A grade. Congratulations, Houston. You got a new franchise QB. Holy shit. The Houston Texans have traded up to the 3rd overall pick. They're going to do it. They're madmen. They're going to get CJ Stroud, their quarterback of the future, and this has got to be Will Anderson. Holy shit. Congratulations. What a draft. I love that aggressiveness. I don't know what the compensation is, but if you leave this with a new quarterback and the best player in this year's draft class, round of applause for the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans' best player in the draft class, Will Anderson Jr. out of Alabama. He was one of those guys, like, box score stat-wise, he dropped off a little bit this year because he's like Aaron Donald. teams viewed, he was the Aaron Donald of college football. He'd get double and triple teamed. Offenses were literally designed to avoid letting him, impact the game any way, shape, or form. But like, he was one of those guys, like when I looked at what he did in 2021, 100 plus tackles, 31 tackles for loss, and 17 and a half, generational type numbers. He is the best player in this year's draft class. Houston, there's your, different but the same. You have now your J.J. Watt replacement. You now have your cornerstone edge rusher. He adds in the long line. Houston's done this before. Mario Williams, J.J. Watt. I mean, J.J. Watt was drafted a little bit later, but J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney, the next premier edge rusher to become a member of the Houston Texans, Will Anderson, A+. I love the aggressiveness. Outstanding job from Houston, crushing it. Alrighty, we have the Indianapolis Colts now on the clock, and they do it! The Indianapolis Colts select Anthony Richardson, quarterback from Florida. Congratulations, Colts fans. You guys got yourself an absolute alien at the position. The best athlete, pound for pound, in this year's draft class. And you're putting him in a scenario where he's going to be able to succeed. You got Shane Steichen coming over from the Philadelphia Eagles, who has worked wonders and knows how to call plays for a quarterback of Anthony Richardson's skill set. You have an offensive line that on paper, they've invested in it. They should have a great offensive line. They should have a great run game with Jonathan Taylor. You already have a proven wide receiver one in Michael Pittman. Maybe get another weapon in there, because I do think you need to put and surround Anthony Richardson with a lot of talent while he figures out, the developmental side, because he is a raw player. I don't know with the selection when Anthony Richardson is going to start for you guys, but I love this fit. I love the player. He was my quarterback too. A+. I'm going to be throwing out a lot of A+. I don't want to be loose with the A+ grades. I love the fit. I love the pick. I love what he's going to do to the Colts franchise. I see already in my chat, Colt fans loving that it's not Will Levis. A+, Anthony Richardson. Get those jerseys ordered up. The Seattle Seahawks at pick 5. The dream for me as an Eagle fan, Jalen Carter's still there. They get my top corner in the draft class. An absolute dog. Devin Witherspoon. Maybe a little bit of a surprise. That's excellent. Devin Witherspoon, Tariq Woolen. Are you kidding me? I think that kind of lines things up for Detroit to maybe go Christian Gonzalez, but Devin Witherspoon is, I believe, my 4th highest rated player in this year's draft class. Maybe a surprise. I don't really feel like a lot of talk had Seattle considering a corner at pick 5, but Devin Witherspoon is an outstanding player. My pro comp for him is Jair Alexander. Maybe not as twitchy as Jair Alexander, but has that alpha mentality. That's the number one thing I look for in corners. Are you an alpha? Sauce Gardner was an alpha. Derek Stingley was not. That was the difference. That was honestly the biggest difference between those two players. This year, Devin Witherspoon's an alpha. Christian Gonzalez, maybe. But Devin Witherspoon, I love that pick. I'm actually extra happy. I'm probably going to even throw a little bit bonus score in here because Jalen Carter's little dream is still alive for me here in Philadelphia. And if he falls into our lap and we don't have to trade up, that's going to be incredible. But I give it an A, maybe not an A+, because Jalen Carter is a blue chip player, but it did look like Seattle did a lot of homework on him, so maybe they weren't super comfortable, maybe they didn't like what they found. But I love the player, I love the fit, I love the pairing, the idea of Devin Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen on the outside. Seattle trying to recreate the Legion of Boom. A grade for this one. I love it, man. A little bit of a surprise, but I love that pick, man. Devin Witherspoon, such a good player. So we got a big-time trade. The Arizona Cardinals have traded up with the Detroit Lions to get the 6th pick in the first round. Predictions? I'm hoping that this is either Tyree Wilson or Christian Gonzalez. Please let the Jalen Carter fall continue. So the Arizona Cardinals are on the clock, and they go tackle! Paris Johnson Jr. We were talking about this in chat during the stream. 4 players that the Cardinals could have got. Paris Johnson Jr., Tyree Wilson, Jalen Carter, Christian Gonzalez. Thought maybe more so siding towards Jonathan Gannon being a defensive coordinator. They go on the defensive side of the ball. But as I said, Paris Johnson he was my number 6 overall player in this draft class. He goes at 6. Their offensive line ain't shit. He is the best tackle. Him and you got DJ Humphries probably as the 2 tackles there for the Arizona Cardinals. It's not a bad pick. It might not be a super popular pick with the Cardinals. I'm giving it an A. That is, you have so much money committed and invested in Kyler Murray. Make his life easier. And you do so by getting a franchise tackle. And that is what Paris Johnson's ceiling is. Outstanding mover, outstanding footwork, just beginning to scratch the surface. You get flexibility as well if you need to. Has played guard and tackle at Ohio State. But for me and my money, you're putting that guy at left tackle for the next decade. Great pick, A grade there for the Cardinals. Good first pick, man. Even though Jonathan Gannon's an absolute nerd, it's a good pick. All right, the Raiders are on the clock at pick 7, and the pick is in. It is Tyree Wilson, the edge rusher from Texas Tech. You know, I'm not super high on him as a top 10 pick, but undeniable traits. I had him as my number 21 overall player on my big board. You know, we're a year from, he's Travon Walker. He's the Travon Walker of this year. He's a guy that you're gambling on the traits. More production than Travon Walker had, but there is definitely a level of development that needs to be had for that pick to really live up to the hype of the number 7 selection. I think you can make the argument Christian Gonzalez could be a better pick here, but edge rushers are always going to be valued more than corners. And it's going to be an interesting fit here. How are they going to utilize Tyree Wilson, too? He's a bigger guy. Are you going to have him stand up on the other side of Max Crosby? You got Chandler Jones. I mean, they got to is he going to play on the front? You're going to be versatile with, I don't know. It's an interesting pick. It's not a bad pick by any means. And let's be honest, Raiders have made some head-scratching picks over the year. I'd give this a B. A B for the Raiders with a lot of upside if they can develop this guy. All right, the pick is in. I don't even want to look. I'm honestly not. I'm gonna watch just the feed because I don't want to see this thing pop up. This is, as an Eagle fan, we are at the spot where it's gonna. Oh fuck it, we'll just show it. This could be very bad. Bijan Robinson, Jalen Carter are still on the menu. There's a chance one of those guys are off the menu here. I'm not even gonna look. The thing's gonna pop up and I'm not gonna react to it right away. This is the most nervous I've been this whole draft process. Please not be Bijan Robinson. I'm thinking on the top of my head, talking about with chat here. I think Christian Gonzalez makes a lot of sense. Christian Gonzalez, AJ Terrell on the outside, Jeff Okudah in the slot. It's a really nice secondary. I think you go wide receiver, Jackson Smith-NJIGBA, Kyle Pitts, Drake London. Make the pick. Not Bijan. Not Bijan. All right. So they just completely dismissed the fact that they had a competent, on a completely incompetent team last year in the Atlanta Falcons. One of the only things that wasn't a big issue was they could run the football with Algier, Cordell Patterson. But they trust their board. They go best player available. And depending on what Chicago does here, as long as this is not Jalen Carter at 9, I think Atlanta making the decision for Philadelphia. Philadelphia has to flip-flop at 10 if Jalen Carter and Bijan Robinson are there at 10. There's always going to be that what if of like, are we going to make the right call? Atlanta made that decision. So as long as Chicago doesn't F this up, I'm going to be pretty happy. The grading this one, I feel like you're trending between like a B+ and an A-. A- because Bijan is just so freaking good, and obviously he's got to be even better than what they already have. But I just think when you look at big picture in Atlanta, the run game was one of the more solid things they had last year. You have so many other holes, question marks at quarterback. Who else is going to make plays for you at wide receiver? You literally are severely lacking any big-time players on the defensive side of the ball. You got AJ Terrell, Grady Jarrett, and the rest is like developmental. You're cautiously optimistic. I think if I was Atlanta, I probably would hope you'd had a BPA on the defensive side of the ball there at 8, but they're getting an absolute game changer. You know, I'll go B+. I'll B+ trending towards an A-. Oh shit, here we go. The Philadelphia Eagles have traded up to 9. I don't know the compensation. It obviously wouldn't be a lot. I'm going to be wishful and say maybe it's like the pick that we got for the tampering with the Cardinals. I think we know what this pick's going to be. So Philadelphia traded up to 9. I got the compensation while we're waiting. A future 4th rounder is all it costs to move up one spot. If this is not Jalen Carter, if this is Peter Skoronski, something bad's about to happen. All right, bring it to you live. This is going to be a big pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. Bijan Robinson just went at pick 8. So they made the decision for the Eagles. Eagles were sitting there at 9 or at 10. They traded up to 9. All it cost them was a 4th-round pick next season, that's nothing. We're going to get that back plus some for the comp picks from this season, what we lost in free agency. Atlanta made the decision. It wasn't going to have to be a scenario where Philadelphia has to pick. Do we go Bijan Robinson? Do we go Jalen Carter? Jalen Carter is on the board. He has got to be the pick. So much about the off the field of Jalen Carter, right? Rightfully so. But the fact that, there's a lot of mystique around what's happening with him. But Philadelphia has his best friend and teammate that they both elevate. They both played off each other at Georgia in Jordan Davis. Jalen Carter has said Jordan Davis is like, he's that guy that elevates him. We have Nakobe Dean, who was the leader of that defense. If there's going to be any team that's confident in making a pick of a player with red flag issues in Jalen Carter, who is a blue chip player, arguably the best player in this year's draft class, it is the Philadelphia Eagles. The pick is in. It was a very quick, the pick is in. And it is! Jalen Carter is a Philadelphia Eagle. The Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl runner-up, just debatably got the best player in this year's draft class. A blue chip player that is going to be a successor to Fletcher Cox. An interior pass rusher that is everything that we need right now. It is the Howie Roseman monster. We're building through the trenches. That is fucking awesome, man. Jalen Carter, a Philadelphia Eagle. We could have bottled it, man. There was a chance. Old Howie Roseman, not the Howie Roseman that balls out and adds an A.J. Brown during the draft. Not the Howie Roseman that trades up and is aggressive to get an S-tier alien like Jordan Davis. Not the Howie Roseman that's aggressive and trades up to get a Devontae Smith. The old Howie Roseman, the Jalen Reagor, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Andre Dillard, Derek Barnett Howie Roseman fucking just sits there and gets Skaronski. The new-aged Howie Roseman gets Jalen Carter. You have to wonder, man, that's a weird trade-up. Like, were they worried that Chicago... Like, it's one of those things. Are you worried that Chicago was going to get him? Are you worried that someone else was going to leapfrog Chicago? Like, that's a weird one, because if Chicago wanted Jalen Carter, they clearly wouldn't have traded that selection. But Jalen Carter, in my opinion, the second best player in this year's draft class behind Will Anderson, and it's razor thin. That is a home run for the Philadelphia Eagles. The rich get richer. I cannot wait to see him on the field. That is a borderline generational talent. I'm not going to throw in generation because that's something that just gets thrown around. But Jalen Carter, Bijan Robinson, Will Anderson. It was always those three are bust for the Philadelphia Eagles. And we got Jalen Carter. And we not only did we get Jalen Carter, we thought if we were getting Jalen Carter, we'd have to trade it like the 5th overall pick, leapfrog the Seattle Seahawks. And if you're trading up from 10 to 5, you're talking 2nd round picks, 3rd round picks, maybe even more. The fact that we got Jalen Carter and it only cost us the 4th pick or the 4th round pick next year to secure that, outstanding from Howie Roseman. As long as he's off the field, as long as this guy is not going, as long as this guy's gonna bust his ass for the Eagles, and I have no doubt that he will, especially given the fact that we got Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean on the team. This is absolutely incredible. Let's go, Birds. The Chicago Bears at pick 10. Here I'm thinking they go Skaronski. Maybe they go Jackson Smith-NJIGBA. They go Darnell Wright. I think you make that maybe the first reach of the first round, but he's a legitimate first round tackle. Maybe if all these teams are kind of Skaronski's a guard, won't be a tackle. Darnell Wright is very good. He's very much a first round tackle. Is he a top 10 pick? I don't know, but protecting Justin Fields, you can't go wrong with that logic, right? You cannot go wrong with that logic. I assume what you're gonna have Broderick Jones. What's his name? Broderick. I don't even know who's Jones. Is their other tackle that he was like a 5th round pick. And you got Darnell Wright. He's gonna be plug and play at that right tackle spot. Maybe they make him the left tackle. But you look at the other names that are available right now. Maybe not the home run that Bears fans are hoping. Like the fact that you trade it back and you still get a guy that's maybe a little lukewarm. But I mean, it's a solid pick. I'd say like B- for Darnell Wright to the Chicago Bears. I think overall, maybe not the best player available. Skaronski's still there. But the idea of protecting Justin Fields at pick 10, that's a smart approach. And the Tennessee Titans at pick 11, a run on offensive lineman go Peter Skoronski. We'll call him a lineman because there is a chance he has to kick inside the guard, but you're going to be optimistic with the 11th pick that he's going to be an offensive tackle, a player that arguably has one of the highest floors in this year's draft class. Very pro ready. It's a Titans pick. It's a popular pick. I've mocked Skoronski to them multiple times. I'm giving this one an A grade. Maybe it's not sexy. Maybe it's not flashy, which is kind of Tennessee anyways, like Tennessee football. That is an on-brand pick, a very nice pick. Where else? Maybe Will Levis, like that maybe can rue if Will Levis ends up hitting and they decide to pass on him with the question marks at the quarterback spot. But ultimately, Skoronski to the Titans, I'll give that an A. That's a very nice, safe, respectable pick. So the Detroit Lions are on the clock. Has to be Gonzalez, and it's Jameer. No. Oh, no. Just had our daily dose of sound. Wow. Okay, you know what? I'll say this. If they can still get Gonzalez at 18, which I'll be absolutely shocked if he falls that far. If they could just, no matter how the sausage is made, if they end up with Jahmyr Gibbs and Christian Gonzalez, it won't be that bad. But passing on Christian Gonzalez here at 12 for a team that I think so desperately needs a corner. You have run, like, what are these teams that have run games? I don't know. It's definitely a reach, but you're getting a guy who, like, could be the next Jamal Charles. So if he's that, are we really going to be complaining about it being a reach? But in the moment right now, you got a great player, but that is an incredibly surprising pick. That's more surprising than the Darnell Wright selection. That's more surprising than the Raiders going Tyree Wilson. That is, I don't even know how to score that. In hindsight, like if they still end up with Gonzalez, maybe I would be a little bit more favorable on this if they truly think Gibbs is the best offensive game changer available in the draft, which he could very well be. But I don't know, man. I don't want to be too harsh on this, but like, I think there's going to be some people, especially Lion fans. I'll go C+ because I think the player's really good. And if he is an extra Jamal Charles, you're going to be, fucking who cares? You get him at 12. But that is certainly a pick. I'll go C+. Certainly a pick. But again, if they can get Gonzalez at 18, it might not be the end of the world. And the pick is in for 13 for Green Bay, and it's Lucas Van Ness. Jackson Smith-NJIGBA, Brian Branch still on the board, and they go with the developmental pass rusher out of Iowa. I could see Green Bay Packers fans throwing something right now. I would have went, I was talking about this in chat, we're grading this. This is going to be used in a grades video, hot take, initial reaction type grade. I think you get an A+ if you get Jackson Smith-NJIGBA. You get an A if you go with Brian Branch. Lucas Van Ness is like, again, you're going back-to-back C+. And like, much like Jahmyr Gibbs, like, this is not necessarily like guys that I don't believe in. Like Van Ness was in my top 50 big board. I had him closer to the first round than not. But you're still questioning with the guys on the board, was that the right decision? Upside is immense with Lucas Van Ness. I think obviously you look at his ceiling with his athletic profile right now and with how much he's in the infancy of his football career. Like wasn't even a starter last year at Iowa. If he puts it all together, he could be one of the better power rushers in the league, and you're laughing. But when is he going to develop into that? Is it going to be this year? Is he going to shock everyone? Is that going to be something that you're going to see year 2, year 3 in terms of development? And like the more you start piling on that, the more you're like, maybe a weapon for Jordan Love would have been awesome here. Or maybe, a guy that's a pro-ready safety in Brian Branch would have been the picker. Maybe even a tight end, Dalton Kincaid, Michael Mayer, Lucas Van Ness. I don't know, man. Certainly a pick. I'll give it C+, but I don't hate the player. There's upside there for sure. All right, the Pittsburgh Steelers trading up to pick 14. I'm going to guess, especially because almost everyone has had Pittsburgh going corner. Most Steeler fans want a corner. Chris Gonzalez, is this where his fall stops? Let's find out. The Pittsburgh Steelers trade up, and they got Broderick Jones, the tackle from Georgia. That's a good pick. It was either Broderick Jones or Christian Gonzalez, corner or tackle, the two needs for the Steelers. Any of my mock drafts, I usually go corner in the first round. I went with the whatever tackle fell in the first round with their second round selection. Trading up again at Broderick Jones, that is very safe business. You got to start to wonder now a little bit about the Christian Gonzalez free fall. Our team's a little bit worried about the technical side. Like, you know, they view him more as a project athlete. Maybe, and you almost wonder, like, where's his free fall going to stop? Could it be the Patriots? Could it be the Lions at 18 take another swing? It could be honestly the Commanders. I think the Commanders use some corner help. But Broderick Jones is a instant day one starter at left tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers. A left tackle blindside protector for Kenny Pickett. I'll give that, because they had to trade up for him. I don't know the compensation. I'll give it an A, but that's a home run pick there for the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, the Jets at 15 go Will McDonald. What? Edge rusher from Iowa State. You know, interesting. Great athlete. Proven production. Not super sure where he fits. Like, is this like a guy where you're like, you know, are they lower on Carl Lawson after paying him big money? Like, is that maybe that kind of role? Because you got Jermaine Johnson last year in the first round. So, like, you know, you want those guys on this. It's, you know, weird pick. But I think the Jets were definitely in a spot here at 15 BPA. C plus, B minus. B minus because I think Will McDonald is a solid player. But I think maybe 15 is also a little rich for it. We'll go C plus here for the Jets. Weird pick. How do you guys feel about this one? Washington Commanders at pick 16. Christian Gonzalez gets passed over again. Emmanuel Forbes, corner from Mississippi State. I mean, first round, he's a first round caliber corner. Proven SEC ball hawk. You get the productions. Obviously, yeah, slight frame, 166 pounds. But I thought this was always going to be a corner pick. I just thought it was going to be a layup of a Christian Gonzalez. Man, maybe the league is, they're worried about the technical side. Maybe they just see him as a pure athlete, maybe more raw than people. You know, it is what it is. But Emmanuel Forbes, I mean, now I can view this as an Eagle fan. This is the first pick within the division. You know, that's a solid pick there for the Commanders. You know, it's a guy that doesn't mess around. He has a little bit of that alpha in him too as well. I think him and Witherspoon are the two chippy type corners, and that is absolutely a trait that you want to see in your corners. I think there's gonna be some people that are gonna roll their eyes at this pick. I think there's gonna be some Commander fans that might have want Christian Gonzalez because he was a more hype player. This is still a really, really solid pick at a position need for the Commanders where they need to strengthen. And, you know, I'm a little annoyed. I'd give this a strong B+, trending towards an A-. Really, really nice corner. And the Patriots at pick 17 get the corner that many thought would go at pick 16. The free fall has stopped. Christian Gonzalez. You know, with respect to Deonte Banks, like the freak corner of this year's draft class. Many people had him pegged as a top 10 pick. He was my number 7 player overall in this draft. Falls to 17 into the lap of the one guy who's going to take this S-tier freak athlete corner that has a high ceiling, but needs to develop to get to that high ceiling. It's Bill Belichick. This is a chance for Bill Belichick to, like, stamp another all-time great for the Patriots in his era with Christian Gonzalez. That is the type of ceiling that he has. This is an A+ pick. Oh my God. That's perfectly. I mean, you're going to be upset if you're Christian Gonzalez that you fell this far. You lost out a little bit of money, but you probably could not have gone to a better landing spot. As long as he buys into the Patriot way, this is an outstanding pick for the New England Patriots. And with pick 18, the Detroit Lions go Jack Campbell, linebacker out of Iowa. Maybe the most, like, let's row C4 on his big board from that video I dropped yesterday. I have Jack Campbell, and I have seen nobody else have him nearly this high. He was my 15th best player in this draft class. I thought, you know, just old school style, modern day range, and literally I've been watching the NFL Network right now. He's Leighton Van Der Esch before all the injuries. Outstanding linebacker, great athlete, reads the game well. He's smart, has some upside as well. Like, I think he's pro ready, and he has some more upside to go. Oh yeah, that's like your take the lap. I was a believer. I mean, already there's probably gonna be some people like, I'm loading the fact that a player that I liked a lot more than everyone else, who almost, like, I think he was like, some people had him was like a second, third round grade. I'm reveling the fact that he went this early. It justifies, like, what I saw when no one else really saw was kind of right, at least in line with the NFL teams. But then on the equal side, I bet there's a lot of Detroit Lions fans who are livid that they just drafted a linebacker at pick 18. So I'm going to grade it high because I like this player a lot. I'll give this a B+ for the Detroit Lions, and I think probably most Lions fans are probably going to give this like a C or something like that. But Jack Campbell, very, very good player. Him and Rodrigo, Did I have that in my last mock draft? I think I had the Lions getting him in the second round in my last mock. Him and Rodrigo, that's your linebackers for the next 5 years. So for the Bucks are at 19. Is this where Will Levis' free fall stops? I mean, I'm lower. Will Levis is my 42nd player in this year's draft. And I would like be considering him here at 19. And him, not Will Levis. They like Baker Mayfield more than they like Will Levis. They go Kalijah Cansey, D lineman from Pitt. That's interesting because don't the Bucks run a 3-4? So you're going to assume Kalijah Cansey's going to be a defensive end there. The reason why more teams were projecting him as like a 4-3-3 technique because he has like historically short arms. And that's just always a deficiency. That's always something that's going to work against an edge rusher. At least if you have, the shorter guys, you can work on the inside, work against the guards, work against the centers, guys that generally are way less, of an arm fighting than you say you're trying to come out the edge against tackles with like 87-inch wingspans and shit like that. So yeah, you're going to have him a defensive end, I assume, and you're going to challenge that. You're going to put him maybe not his best spot. I did like the pro comp they're showing here on the NFL Network of Ed Oliver. Obviously a great athlete. I don't know. A little bit of a weird pick for the Bucks. Maybe a little bit of a reach as well. I like Cansey. He was my number 37 player in the draft class, so I had him as an early second round talent. But 19's not really a massive reach. But speaking of reach, that's the question mark about this. Is he going to excel, especially in a 3? They didn't change their scheme, right? Still got Todd Bowles there. I imagine that's how they're going to try to utilize him a little bit. Interesting how that one works. I'll give, again, I don't know, C+. Interesting pick. Wow. The Seattle Seahawks go JSN. I think I actually had that. I mean, every content creator ends up making like 7 mock drafts. I had that scenario in a mock draft. I, for sure, would have had Seattle at some point going Jackson Smith-NJIGBA because it gives you a little bit more flexibility with Tyler Lockett. Play him more on the outside. Utilize that speed. Okay. This is a commitment to Geno Smith. I mean, at this point, honestly, if he's their highest graded player, Seattle is absolutely at pick 20 here, best player available. I'd give that an A-, B+, somewhere in there. Like, that's an exciting playmaker and another weapon. You have JSN, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Noah Fant. Those, and an offensive line that's coming together there and a run game with Kenneth Walker. Like, you are building an offense that is going to make life easy for Geno Smith. So I think they're doing that outstanding. I'd give that A-. I like that fit. And the Chargers at pick 21 go Quinn Johnson. 6'2", 6'3", outside wide receiver out of TCU. This was maybe more than like a month ago. Before they seemed to commit again to Keenan Allen, running back with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, wide receiver was a position that was very commonly mocked to the Chargers, and then kind of shifted to other spots, replacement running back and all that other stuff. But so not a surprise pick from the Chargers. Quentin Johnson, I'm a little bit lower on him just because there are so much Kevin White, a little bit to his game. He is my number 44 player in the draft. But definitely not a reach. I know that that's a little bit of a hot take, and most people do have him as a first, maybe early second round type pick, if not just an outright first round pick at wide receiver. So that's another weapon for Justin Herbert for sure. You're gonna have him on one side, Mike Williams on the other, and Keenan Allen in the slot. That is a very nice offense. That's a very competitive offense for the very competitive AFC. I'll give this a solid B, trending towards a B+ pick for the Chargers. The Baltimore Ravens, guys. Okay, this is gonna be obviously a little bit weird. The stream, my webcam died during the stream for some reason, so this is just my voice here. But the Baltimore Ravens at 22 go Zay Flowers, which he's the slot wide receiver. Don't think it's a reach, and I still think you absolutely could go out and get DeAndre Hopkins still in a trade. If you don't get DeAndre Hopkins, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, you could build around that. I got vibes, Zay Flowers, of a young Antonio Brown with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he's a very nice player. He was my 40th player in this year's draft class, but it's help for the brand new franchise quarterback. Congratulations on paying Lamar Jackson. I'll give this a B+. All right, fix the webcam. We are back, YouTube. And pick 23 is up, and we're just going to hype this up almost every time until it happens. Is this where Will Levis goes? So the pick is in for the Minnesota Vikings, and the run on what? The run on wide receivers continue. It was Will Levis. I thought they might go corner. Joey Porter Jr., Deontay Banks still on the board, and they go Jordan Addison, wide receiver out of USC. So you got your, not stylistically, but, you got your Adam Thielen successor. Jordan Addison, my number 26 player. So, I mean, he's kind of going in line with where I had him. Not the best athlete. You're getting a better football player, not a good athlete. So it's, that's I still got Brian Branch on the board. That's kind of his traits. Yeah, interesting. I don't think wide receiver was an overly popular pick to be mocking to the Minnesota Vikings, but you're getting a guy that's really, really solid. Really, really solid. I think he's kind of a safe pick. I think he's a guy with a high floor. Maybe, I don't know how high the ceiling's going to be, but a very high floor. And, I don't know, maybe there's a lot. I did see from my chat, seemed like Vikings fans kind of wanted Will Levis at this spot. But Jordan Addison gives you another weapon if they think Kirk Cousins can be the guy. And if Jordan Addison hits, you pair that with Justin Jefferson. That's going to be very, very tough. But ultimately, I'll give this a B-. I think this is like a whelming pick for the Minnesota Vikings. Maybe not an outright home run. And the Giants pick is in at 24. Didn't know what they were going to go. I thought there was a lot of different directions there. And they go Deontay Banks, the perfect 10 Raz corner into this year's draft class. Interesting. Both, I always want to take this as an Eagle fan as a sign of respect. Both the teams so far in the NFC East have gone ahead and be like, we got to figure out ways to stop the Eagles. And you do so by adding some corners. Emmanuel Forbes going to the Commanders. Now Deontay Banks, a ridiculous athlete at the cornerback spot. Needs a way to go technically. Needs to get refined a little bit, but the high ceiling is there. Legit first round. He's my 33rd player overall in this draft class. So, he's going right in the bubble, right in the kind of the range, the high end of where he could go. As a great athlete for the New York Giants on the back end. Solid pick. I'd give this like a strong B. And given his ceiling, could very well be even underselling it a little bit. The Buffalo Bills have traded out to pick 25. The Jags just keep trading back. I have no idea who this could be. Like Osiris Torrance at guard is a big need. You still got Nolan Smith there, Brian Brzee there if they want to keep just swinging resources at pass rush. They could go corner. I don't know, man. Let's see. All right, so at pick 25, the Buffalo Bills select Dalton Kincaid, tight end from Utah. So they pulled what the Philadelphia Eagles did 5 years ago. 6 years, 5 years ago, when they leapfrogged Dallas for Dallas Goedert. It was like, pretty much a lock. Dallas was sitting there waiting for Dallas Goedert. They went, nah, fuck you, jumping ahead of you, got him. Buffalo just might have done the exact same thing. I don't know. Michael Mayer's still there. Maybe Michael Mayer all along was Dallas's tight end one. And they're like, whatever, that wasn't our guy. But I like to think it's just trying to be a little chaotic that the Bills just leapfrogged him and Dallas is absolutely pissed because they wanted Dalton Kincaid. He still can just get Michael Mayer here, which I kind of think is a layup for the Dallas Cowboys. So they want to go tight end. But Dalton Kincaid to the Bills, if their plan is to run a lot more 12 personnel, they see the success Kansas City has, and you're going to have Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox out there. That could be pretty dangerous. If they viewed this not so much as like, a tight end, but we have Dawson Knox. They just viewed this as Dalton Kincaid is the best receiver available, regardless of position, to help out that offense. It kind of makes some sense. But obviously, maybe not a home run pick for the Buffalo Bills. There's going to be people screaming that they should have just got another pass rusher, or they could have went to the secondary, or should have beefed up the offensive line. But it's not a brutal pick. I'd say this is probably a B, maybe trending towards a B-, but I'll give it a B. I want to see Dallas here at 26 go Will Levis. Like that, I would like them going Will Levis. I'd get more enjoyment out of them drafting Will Levis here than I think I did with Jalen Carter going to the Eagles. Please, come on, Jerry. Come on. Spice the draft up a little bit. All right, we got the Dallas Cowboys pick here at 20. They go Mazzy Smith. Oh, no. I didn't even have him in my top 50 players. I think he's probably my top 75. You got a nose tackle. You got a guy that, all right, could have been worse. Could have been worse. Maybe not people that are smart, people that do full time, like Mazzy Smith has been in that bubble of first round conversation. Powerful player. But, I mean, this is a win. There's other players I was a lot more worried Dallas could get at 26. If they got Nolan Smith to pair with Micah Parsons, that'd be terrifying. If they got Michael Mayer at tight end, that'd be very annoying. If they got any of these other like high ceiling edge rushers. If they got, a Miles Murphy, BJ Ojolari, that'd be annoying. The run stop. I mean, he could be good. Maybe he's just a guy I'm lower on. I give that C+. The Jacksonville Jaguars on the clock at pick 27. They go Anton Harrison, the tackle from Oklahoma. So this is going to be their Jawan Taylor replacement. Plug and play them at right tackle. And yeah, you know what? It's kind of, what Doug Peterson must have brought with him from the Philadelphia Eagles is you build within the trenches. Even though I personally might want Brian Brzee here, which is still kind of obeying that mantra a little bit. Anton Harrison helps protect Trevor Lawrence. And clearly that is your franchise quarterback. So not a bad pick, maybe not a sexy pick, but Jacksonville, it's definitely an area that they could have easily, for me, it was definitely a trenches pick. So I'll give them a B+ on this one. So the Cincinnati Bengals at 28, talking about it in the chat, we're like, tight end, could this be Michael Mayer? Could it maybe be a corner, Joey Porter Jr.? They go Miles Murphy, edge rusher from Clemson. Value, according to my big board, he was my number 20 player in this year's draft class. You're gambling on he's a developmental edge rusher. He's going to be a guy that has just rare athletic ability, rare athletic traits, but has struggled to kind of put that together with production, which is kind of like the common theme of all the edge rushers that are still currently available here into the late first round. But, I mean, when you're a team like Cincinnati, I mean, maybe the argument can come for the Bengals. If you went with a different area, you might get someone that will get on the field sooner to help you guys get over that hump in the AFC. Does Miles Murphy do that as a rotational pass rusher? Maybe not more so than other players that are available, but it's a high upside edge rusher, man. Those are the guys you draft in the first round, and I think that's solid value there for the Bengals. I'll give that B+. So the New Orleans Saints try this again. Select Brian Brzee, the defensive tackle out of Clemson. Makes sense. Kind of was my prediction here a little bit. I've always commonly mocked him, Kalijah Cansey at the 3 technique spot. Brian Brzee now easily the top. I don't even think there's going to be an argument. Who else could be the top 3 technique available still on the board? He's my 13th rated player in this year's draft class. Love the fit for the New Orleans Saints. I mean, again, kind of just saying maybe, this could have been Will Levis territory, depending on how view the longevity of Derek Carr. But I love this selection. Brian Brzee, that's A+. Great value, high ceiling. I think he also can help contribute as a rookie. All right, the Philadelphia Eagles are on the clock. We're recording this for YouTube's final pick. This is going to be going up as a live reaction. Right now, there's still 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go for the Eagles pick. I'm looking, they're showing the draft room right now. And it looked like Sean Desai, the defensive coordinator, was the most excited. So I think it's going to be someone on the defensive side of the ball. Both Brian Branch and Nolan Smith are available. I'm talking about this in chat. I feel like you go Nolan Smith here, and it gives you the optimism that, like, how he's working on Budda Baker at safety. There's a reason why he didn't go Brian Branch here, is because he thinks that that's going to be the safety of this Eagles team for the future. So you go Nolan Smith here, a guy that, some people had him potentially going at 10 to the Philadelphia Eagles. He comes in right away. You can play him both with Hassan Riddick. I think there's ability there to develop into like a linebacker, not just an edge rusher, because the athletic ability is so absurd. But ultimately, he's going to be the depth behind Hassan Riddick in that role as a pass rusher from that role. And he's incredibly unique in terms of like Swiss Army knife. I think he could develop into for this defense. But then also in the same vein, I think this should be Nolan Smith. If it's Brian Branch, Brian Branch is my number 9 player in this year's draft class. He's going to be instantly a Chauncey Gardner-Johnson on a rookie deal. I wouldn't be mad at it whatsoever. And he'd start. He would be a day 1 starter. Nolan Smith would come in as a rotational guy, as a depth guy, unless they get really creative with him with a linebacker to get him some reps with the Kobe Dean. Maybe they do that. But I think, if they, and that's still the player I think has the more upside at this point. But and you pair that with the Budda Baker hopes and dreams, and hopefully no nightmares on that. But if you go Brian Branch as a day 1 starter, we're getting a guy that is going to be penciled in as a starting safety at pick 30, at the tail end of the draft. A guy that most people, he's the guy that's falling right now. He's the guy that everyone's like, when is he going to get drafted? Because they have him as like a top 30 player, top 15 player, top 20 player. So let's see what happens here for the Philadelphia Eagles. They're making us wait. Come on, man. Jalen Carter and Brian Branch. Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. Let's be a little bit of a negative Eagles fan. Who would I hate at this point? Guys that I would hate, there's not really any. I'd be underwhelmed with an offensive line pick right now. You could go Cyrus Torrance. You could go Steve Avila. You could go DeJuan Jones. You could go, Cody Mock. Lyman would be annoying. I think Keely Ringo, Adebaware would be an annoying pick. Nolan Smith, Brian Branch, either one of those would be awesome. My prediction, my hope, 1A of that 1A, 1B is Nolan Smith. Who the hell are these guys? It's Kelsey's mom. I don't know who these other three people are. Some guy's holding like a big, what is that, a plate? Man, what are these guys? They got fancy microphones, like the ones that like you look like you're working a drive-thru. Dude Perfect. They went with Dude Perfect over me for the YouTube quota for announcing the Eagles selection. This is so dumb. They're having like Dude Perfect do a coin flip with Travis Kelce on one side, Jason Kelce on the other. And yeah, for sure dumb. This is something that came up by somebody that has no ties to football. They don't care about football. And they just thought this would be an awesome segment. And couldn't be any worse. So the Philadelphia Eagles at pick 30 make the announcement. I'm not looking at the screen. I saw it pop up. Nolan Smith! Let's go! We are the Georgia Bulldogs. Hey, you know what? Let's just take the greatest defense of all time in college and just keep drafting all their players. Nolan Smith, my number 12 player in the draft. A guy that, developmental for sure, right? I don't know when, where, how he sees the field as a rookie for the Philadelphia Eagles. But the upside, the high ceiling is absolutely ridiculous. His pro comp is Hassan Riddick. He's going to be the depth behind Hassan Riddick. He's going to play with Hassan Riddick. You could use this guy utilize him for his pursuit. Just a ridiculous athlete, man. 5-star recruit. I love it, man. That is not a lot of production. If you're going to look at a knock, not a lot of production. Doesn't have elite length. 6'2", 230, 240. And just obviously it's Georgia. Georgia's one of those teams that's it's tough to get a lot of projection for how much they rotate. What happens when your entire depth chart is 5-star type players? But what a draft for the Philadelphia Eagles. If I told you yesterday Philadelphia is getting Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith, you'd be like, how many first-round picks did we give up in future years to land that type of draft haul? That's awesome, man. I honestly just want how are they going to utilize him. I almost feel like it's not fair just to assume that he's going to come in as the backup Sam linebacker with Hassan Riddick. You got to find a way to get this guy on the field. I think they will find a way to get this guy on the field. Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean. Wouldn't be surprised if we end up finding, Keely Ringo at some point tomorrow. I love it. And what this also says to me, for the people that were very much screaming, pounding the table, this needed to be Brian Branch. Brian Branch would have been also an excellent selection. Like, this is A+ for Philadelphia. Brian Branch would have been an A+ for the Philadelphia. Brian Branch would have started next season as a rookie for the Philadelphia Eagles. But until he's drafted, he could still be an Eagle. Philly could trade up, try to be aggressive and get him. But I would like to think, optimistically, maybe because we've had our salads here tonight, that the Nolan Smith selection here was because Howie Roseman was like, nah, I'm good. I think I know what I'm going to do to fix our safety room. I think there's a certain unhappy safety in Arizona named Budda Baker who would love to be in Philadelphia. And that's what he's going to work on. So, that's the blind faith that I'm hoping that Philly is going to finish this draft like we had last year with Jordan Davis and A.J. Brown. We're going to finish this draft day 1, day 2. Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Budda freaking Baker. We got the Kansas City Chiefs next up on the clock. But absolute home run. Eagle fans out there, how do you feel? What do you grade in this draft? I know that I got a lot of people in chat right now watching this that aren't going to be Eagles fans. They're unbiased, and even they're saying, the rich get richer. How did the rest of the NFL allow these types of players to become available to the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm biased, and I'm giving these both A+. These are both players that I would have been happy with at the end of the day at pick 10. And we're able to get both of them and, didn't have to give up and sacrifice big-time future assets to make sure that we attain these two players. And also, at the tail of that, what do you think about the scenario? Would you want to trade up for Brian Branch tomorrow if he falls past the Kansas City Chiefs here at pick 31? Are you going to buy into the fact and just manifest in your brain that a Budda Baker trade is going to happen between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Arizona Cardinals? Because there is definitely some smoke and some connection right there. So hopefully Jonathan Gannon puts in a good word and actually gets that trade through, because that would be absolutely absurd. But I am so stoked to add 2 Georgia defenders to the Eagles. Outstanding draft from Howie Roseman. Again, building back on that faith. That's been the knock on Howie Roseman, right? Can't draft. He's on a hot streak, man. An absolute heater. 3 drafts in a row. I think he's done an outstanding job. Let's do it, man. Let me know how you guys think about it in the comment section below. As always, all that good stuff. Like, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. See you tomorrow. More picks. And with the final pick of the first round, the Kansas City Chiefs go Felix Enudike Ozuma, the edge rusher from Kansas State, productive edge rusher at Kansas State back-to-back seasons. Not in my top 50. Just outside. He was a top 10 edge rusher for me. I think he was my number 9 or number 8 edge rusher in this year's draft class. Maybe trust in Spags, I guess, with this selection. Maybe a little bit of a surprise pick. In terms of edges that I had ahead of him, Isaiah Foskey and BJ Ojulari for sure. I definitely think I would have went BJ Ojulari for a going edge. But, different styles. He's a good power rusher. Him and Karlaftis long term. Didn't they get rid of Frank Clark? So, there you go. There's retooling. There's rebuilding the depth on that pass rush there for Spags. So, not a bad pick. He was always a guy that was kind of flirted around as a potential first-round pick. Likely a second-round pick. So, maybe a little bit of a reach. But, not a bad pick whatsoever for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'd give this a B. And, wow, falling into round 2. Brian Branch still on the board. Osiris Torrance still on the board. Darnell Washington, Michael Mayer, Joey Porter Jr. Very, very surprising. That's probably the guys that are very surprised that they're still out and available. Maybe you get some teams that, and you probably, almost everyone watching this video is going to hope that their team can trade up a spot and get back up early in the, early in the second round to try to get there. If you're Pittsburgh sitting there, Brian Branch is interesting, right? You moved on from Terrell Edmonds. Boom, Brian Branch. There you go. There's your replacement. Get a little bit of honestly, he'd probably be like Mike Hilton for that defense. And they're missing it. Mike Hilton was awesome for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But either way, fellas, that is going to wrap up the day 1, night 1 draft reactions. Undecided if I'm going to stream tomorrow night. I'm leaning towards probably not. Maybe I'll obviously record some individual reactions for the Eagles and stuff like that. But I might stream. And if I do stream, I will be posting that on my Twitter. Give it a follow at PapaXC4. If you want to see more in-depth to the Eagles content, subscribe to my second channel, More C4. That is where I'm going to be kind of breaking down a little bit more into these Eagles-specific picks and gloating that we got Nolan Smith and Jalen freaking Carter in the first round here. But hope everyone else is happy and you're satisfied with your first rounds. And I'll see you guys back in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if it's your first time stopping by. Hit that like button if you enjoyed. Until next time, it's your boy C4. Say peace out. Have a good one. Love ya.